Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, hey, today is the second week of September, and I'm still recuperating from a hernia operation, and I'm not supposed to fish right now. But the doctor didn't say anything about this e-bike, so I decided to take my e-bike down to the canal, maybe test a lure or two, see what's going on down here, take my little dock and see what's going on. Anyway, what I got here is I have my e-bike and it's all fixed up. I got the direct drive now. I eliminated that big low clearance thing. I got a better gearing. It's all set up. I'm going to add a front basket to it. I'm going to add a few more things, but anyway, right now we're out here on the canal, and one thing I wanted to bring to the table is that it's a lot of clouds in the sky. You notice it's stormy over here. There's a big cloud over here. It rains every afternoon. And because it rains every afternoon, there's water movement like we have in this canal. You can notice this canal is moving. This isn't a very good place to fish, so probably not going to catch anything. But there is some great places around Florida. I told you last week I was over at Lake Okeechobee. I was helping out with that Bass Nations, the junior tournament division. Anyway, out there, a lot of these guys were catching fish on the structures that came into the lake. All these water flow areas that come in from the Kissimmee River and all around Fish Eating Creek and all around the south end of the lake. Anyway, there's all sorts of canals and all sorts of pumps and structures and spillways that come into Lake Okeechobee. All good fishing right now. Now, but the really best fishing is where I go over at headwaters. There's a canal, there's a couple canals all around the headwaters lake and around Farm 13, around Garcia. There's a lot of big control structures, and it's so good because the current's flowing. You can take crankbaits, you can take topwater, you can take any number of lures and just catch a world of fish right now. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was a few things about what I'm doing with some of these crankbaits and stuff. What I have here is I have my trusty e-bike. If I can get it going here. I have a couple different things. Let's start off with a really great lure that I have. This is called the Aruka Shad. I designed and developed this Aruka Shad for Spro Corporation about 15 years ago, and it's kind of a takeoff of a rattle trap, but it's a little heavier than a rattle trap. And this particular color is just a killer color. What we have here is this is the golden shiner color, and this is a 5/8 ounce plug. It runs a little bit deeper than, say, a rattle trap. Now, my doctor said I'm not supposed to fish, but I'm going to make a couple casts anyhow. Okay, there's a couple ways to fish this plug. Number one, there's fish up on the top layer just schooling and stuff, so you just throw it out and reel it in. That's one way to just catch fish. You just throw it out and reel it in, just catch fish. Okay, that's one way. The second way, and it's the way that I caught, I was over at Headwaters last year, and I caught a 9 1/4 pounder. That was just part of the deal. Let's see if I get this camera straight. I caught a 9 1/4 pounder by throwing it out there. Let it sink all the way to the bottom. Just let it go all the way down. Let's see how we get the camera right. Okay. Filming this by myself. Get it on the bottom and just kind of slow roll it back. Just kind of slow roll it like this. Just slow and steady on the bottom. And sometimes they'll just load up on it. There's bigger fish. Okay, that's a pretty good way. But one of the best ways to fish deep water is with the yo-yo. And how I do that is that basically I throw it out there. This is the third way. Let it sink all the way to the bottom. Just get it all the way down. Just all the way down. It's about 10 feet deep there. Get the rod in a good strike position. Lift the rod up. You let it back down. They hit it on the fall. They hit it as the thing sinks. So watch that line. I got braided line on. I can really feel it. Lift it up, drop it down. Lift it up. Be ready to set the hook. Keep that low rod. Keep that low rod. Lift it up. Be ready to set the hook. Anyway, that's a good way for deep water fishing. Okay, so the rattle trap's one really good way. Now, they're also hitting top water and stuff like that. So here's a plug. I'm going to show you my next choice that I have to fish this moving water. And it's a nice jerkbait. And I've tuned all these things too. I got a way to tune them so that they run straight. But let's take this spinning rod, for example. Let's take this particular plug right here. Is a McStick by Spro. It's a McStick. Now it's also another plug that's here. I'm going to show you just while we're at it. It's another plug. It's my stick, and it's a Bomber Long A. Now the Bomber Long A has been a traditional plug. They're both kind of topwater plugs to start with. And I'm throwing them a lot around the lily pads, around the edges of the hydrilla, around the structure, around the edges of the grass. And so they're both really good plugs for that. Let me just show you how I do it. I'm going to take a plug like this one, and I'm going to pretend like that tree right there is my target. That's my ambush point. So I'm going to throw it to that tree, make a little cast, and remember I can fish it for a while as a topwater plug. So it's going to have to really kind of stay as a topwater plug. Let's see, let's the camera just a tad. Okay. Take it as a topwater plug. I'll take it and cast it right there. Now watch it. It's just floating there, just like topwater. It's a topwater plug. It's a topwater plug. I twitch it. It's a topwater plug. It's a topwater plug. Nothing hit it. It's a topwater plug. It's a minnow. Nothing hit it. It's a topwater plug. Then after they don't hit it, I kind of work as a jerk bait. See how I'm jerking under the water? It's about 6 inches under the water, kind of coming back kind of erratically. Sometimes you can let it float up, but a lot of times I just keep it under the water. Now I have polarized glasses on, and I can see the bottom. I can see what's happening here, and I can see the fish following that lure. A lot of times in this clear water I can. Again, there's another way to do it if they're up there schooling. What I'll do sometimes is just if they're just up on top busting water, is just I'll just reel it slow on top, and it just goes down about a foot. And I can stop it again, fish it as a topwater plug. So a jerk bait can be a topwater plug. It's just a target lure. I'm using it as a target lure. I'm not using it, particularly in this moving water, I'm not using it as to cover water. I'm using it more as a target and as a topwater. Okay, let's look for some more lures. The doctor said don't fish yet. Got this hernia deal. I got to show you a lure that's really kind of cool. It's big on my book. Years ago, we had these square bills back in the 50s, and this guy Fred Young made these big O's, big E's, big O's. And what the big O was a plug that was particularly good around stumps and rocks and around the Tennessee River area. And I used it a lot. And I won a couple tournaments on it. In fact, I won 3 tournaments on a plug just like this. Now, this is the old 30, 40-year-old Mike Eastep plug. It's a copy of the Big O. And Mike Eastep and I got together. We were going to make these things commercially. We never did. And one just like this, I won 3 big B.A.S.S tournaments on it. And what it is, it's a square bill crankbait. It's good for cranking into logs. It comes over stumps. It comes over rocks. And a lot of times these canals in South Florida have a lot of stumps and logs and rocks, and so I can use it as a pretty weedless lure. Now it has kind of light hooks on it, and so what I'll do, I'll purposely throw it on a real heavy 50-pound braid line. For example, if I'm throwing it on a big heavy line like this, and it's light hooks, I'll take this Aruka Shad off. Let me just show you something. This is such a cool lure. And now with 50-pound braid, I can come in with that clip. By the way, I want to give you one more tip. I'm using a little clip right now, but make sure the clips are rated. Get good clips. Don't get these cheap ones because they're not strong enough. Get the ones that are rated 30, 40, 50-pound test, and the clips will run good. Okay, let's get out here and try it for just a second. Let's see what we got. I think we got a really good deal here. Okay. So here with the square bill, it's again a lot of times it's a target lure. Throwing it out by things, fishing it as a topwater to start with, and then again it dives deeper. It dives a lot deeper than say the little jerk bait. Gets down about 5 or 6 feet. This one happens to be tuned just right, and I spend a lot of time tuning these lures, so that's a big deal. So I tune them up. Again, it runs about 5 or 6 feet deep, so it's just a perfect lure for say schooling fish if they're down 5 or 6 feet deep. And so that's just a perfect combination. Just kind of, it has a really big, heavy wobble. It's a real distinct wobble. These square bills like this that just go crazy. I hit some grass right there. See, that's one of the reasons why, Now it gets caught in the grass, but it comes through the rocks and the stumps and the logs pretty good. Again, these big old square bills, I've caught my share of big bass. In fact, I want to tell you a little story. The biggest bass I ever caught in Florida, one of the biggest bass, was on almost the exact plug. I was at Rodman Reservoir with my father-in-law. I made a cast with it, and I got a backlash. I got a big backlash. And just about that time, I'm picking the backlash out, and this big 12.5 pound bass hits it. I had to hand land it in with my line like this. And that's how I caught it. The biggest bass. Well, that was the biggest bass I caught on a crankbait. Okay, son. Well, that's it. I've shown you a few things about what I'm doing right now as far as my fishing goes. Uh, my people like Bass Pro and of course Spro Corporation, O'Reilly, oh, they're all great people. They love it when I hit that likes because it gives me numbers and they like the numbers and I get contracts to do things. And okay, that's what makes my world go around. The likes. But hit the likes button. I hope I taught you a few things about some crankbait fishing, about my choice of how to fish the running water this time of year. We'll see you again soon. Hey, and thanks for watching.